small video.
Yes. It's crazy.
This is called the Strawberry Arena in Stockholm, Sweden. And today is the final of the MELODIFESTIVALEN, called the Melody Festival, which is the music festival and the largest one in Sweden. And the reason for this festival is to the finalists of this festival will make it to the Eurovision, which is held in 25. It's held in Geneva, Switzerland in May. And this Melody Festival is the annual song competition organized by the Swedish public broadcaster, which is called the Sveriges Television, and the Sveriges Radio, which is the Swedish television and the Swedish radio. And the prime objective of it is to determine the country's representative for the Eurovision Song Contest. Probably where we are seeing it is the big backstage, right? And this backstage is the place where probably the singers and I think the technical people or maybe the important people gather. That's the reason it's backstage and the entry is limited. So coming to this, it's a huge stadium, massive stadium, which can accommodate about 65,000 people. And then about 50,000 people if it's a football match. And you can have mini football matches also, like 35,000 and 20,000 for the mini concerts also, right? And it's a small concert or big concert maybe. And the highest attendance in this was Taylor Swift Eras Tour in 2024, May 17 to 19, with about a little more than 60,000 people. And the highest football matches attended were, little more than 50,000 people for the AAK matches. So coming to the Melody Festival, right? This festival started in 1959 in Sweden, and it has been more than 60 events that have taken place from 1959, excepting COVID and I think one or two exceptions. But largely it has taken place, and it has produced seven. Melody Festival has produced 7 Eurovision winners and top 5 placings for Sweden in the contest. Right, and because in Eurovision is a festival, a music festival that consists of people from Euro countries, and I believe this year there is Israel also. I believe because 37 countries is this year. So they have countries predominantly from the European, from the Europe and Eurovision. That's Eurovision is the biggest music festival in Europe, and also in 2002, what happened was there was an introduction of something known as the Heats, and it raised a potential number of contestants from 12 to 32. Children version of the competition also began that year. It's called the Lilla Melodian Festival, and so Melody Festival, as it's called, is with the M. This is the logo since 2016, and then it's a Swedish. Obviously, there were 63 episodes, as I was telling you, for the past 63 years. Only COVID and I think 1 or 2 more years they were not conducted. So the running time, it happens like this. This year actually this is the 6th final competition. So what happens is there were 5 preliminary competitions in 5 different cities in Sweden, and 6th, the final, ultimate final, or the final is conducted in Stockholm in this Strawberry Arena. And then what we see is, those were 1.5 hours for the first 5 matches. They were conducted on every Saturday, February 1, February 8, February 15, February 22, March 1, and today is March 8, the final. And then, so origins, actually, if you look at the origins, right, with the Eurovision, and first place Eurovision took place in Lugano in Switzerland in May of 1956. Sweden connected with the Eurovision from 1958-59, and then so the first Melody Festival took place on the 1959 at the Circus in Stockholm. Circus is an old venue in Stockholm, and then in Stockholm, and then with the juries. And then what happened was, yesterday the winning song, regardless of would be performed at the Eurovision. So this started off with the connection with Eurovision since the 58-59 kind of years. And then for the past 63 years, so the Eurovision, the winner of this Melody Festival has always participated in the Eurovision final. Eurovision is conducted in different kind of the European countries, and it's the biggest museum festival in Europe. And then Sweden was absent Eurovision, I think, for 1 or 2 times. That's the only time that Sweden was absent, probably in 1970, and I believe in right. And then, if you really look at the participation of this, then hundreds of songs and performers are selected. And then until 2001, the participation of the festival was limited to a single night. And the number of contestants ranged from 5 to 12. And if you remember Sweden with ABBA, right? MELODIFESTIVALEN has been the launching part for ABBA and many other musical, because the contest itself is so popular. So even if people do not win the contest, it's possible that they will become popular later on. Sometimes actually some participants they won the contest, but they went into obscurity afterwards. So there is but it's the highest, and in regards to TV rights and the money involved, it's the highest in Sweden again, because the SVT and SRA, Swedish Radio, Swedish Television are kind of actively involved in this, right? And so the rights and so big money is involved here, obviously, with regard to the TV participation and TV rights and so on. And then selection of contestants is based on there are different ways of selecting the contestants. And then the contestants and the songs that made up the first selections. Then this year, of course, 2004 24-25 season, 25 season, there are as I was telling you, there were 5 preliminary rounds held at 5 cities between on the Saturdays in February and of course the March 1st, and March 8th today is the last final, in which those 12 songs will be competing 10 plus kind of the 2/3 songs. So they are selected based on a combination of voting and selections. It's a bit complicated, but it's not so complicated but easy to understand. Submission process is overseen by the Swedish Music Publishers Association, and whose task is to reduce the number of songs which has numbered over 3,000 since 2002 to around 1,200. And then, so what happened was, so there are about 1,200 or something initial songs, and then so obviously a lot of people are aspiring to be, to the winners in this MELODIFESTIVALEN. And so seeing that it's not complicated, because the venue is really, really amazing and too huge, really. So, and then there have been wild cards, I believe between 2004 to 2013, there had been wild card entries. And then coming to the hosting, these venues, the MELODIFESTIVALEN and our venues are announced in September of the preceding years. The heats of are held in towns and cities throughout Sweden. There is one venue called the Globe, which looks like a globe in Stockholm, similar to not similar, but like the Sphere in Las Vegas. But of course, Sphere in Las Vegas has LED and all those stuff, but this globe doesn't have anything. But Stockholm Globe is also quite big globe actually. And it's called, Avicii Arena now, and Globe Arena, and it has a capacity of 16,300. So that was one of the venues. The final, since the heats were introduced in 2002. Since up to 2001, it was probably just a one-night event, yeah. And then what happened was, so 2002 to 2012, this Globe Arena has hosted the MELODIFESTIVAL final. In 2013, the final was built to this current venue that we are sitting and seeing now, which is called the Strawberry Arena. And then it's built in Solna municipality. And then this is a huge, as I was telling you about the arena, the Strawberry Arena is a huge, it's a huge kind of stadium, football stadium basically, and it can host about 65,000 people. And then for the football, and then 65,000 for the concerts, and then at a maximum, and then 50,000 for the football. They can also reduce it to, for example, 35,000, for the football, mini football or something kind of that. And then 20,000 for a small for a concert as well. Obviously, it can go up to less. So because these arenas and venues are very wonderful, because in one sense, we see that there are the kind of arrangement and repurposing of these arenas takes place at a very fast pace. The people who work in this arena, right, within hours they just repurpose the arena. One day it might be a football stadium, the other day might be just a concert or something, and then as we learned till 2001 it was just a one night event, and then from 2002 to 2012 it was hosted in the Ericsson Globe or the Globe, and which is now called Avicii Arena. And then it took in 75 it probably took outside outside Stockholm, because the final has been taking place in Stockholm. And then so before 2002 expansion, the host of the hosting it. And then what happened was the event spent its early in circus in Stockholm. So because this event started since 1959, right? Eurovision started in 1956, and then Stockholm or Sweden joined the Eurovision in 1958-59. And from 1959 taken place. And Melodifestivalen, as I was telling you, is the highest musical event in Sweden, because the winners will get to participate in the final of the Eurovision, which is the musical competition from the European and probably you can say from some adjacent countries as well. And Eurovision usually has taken place in many places around Europe. So if I'm right, probably Israel was also there in this Eurovision. So usually the final takes place, and then these finalists, this year's Eurovision 2025 Eurovision final is in Geneva, right? So in May 17th or something, if I'm correct, the exact date, but in May. And then so these people are going to participate in that. Melodifestivalen is like the importance of the Melodifestivalen is. As we see the huge, massive stadium, right? Because this is a football stadium. Basically, we are sitting in a football stadium to account for the what do we call it's a concert basically. So that's the reason this side of the stadium they haven't put anything. I mean, they haven't. The seats are not unoccupied. They haven't opened these seats basically for sales and for ticketing. That's the reason I am sitting in a very isolated seat kind of. And then we see the cheering crowd, right? It's really spectacular. When the stadium is full, nothing like it. It's like a very spectacular move. And then we see there are about 247 stadium LED screens, and then probably the people are cheering and waving, and it's a festive cheering atmosphere here. And then we see, right, like we see that those lights got dimmed. Probably the singers are preparing in the background, and if we really see the backstage, right, I'll show you a bit of the backstage, expanding it. So this is basically the stadium from which this woman is talking, and then the songs will be sung in a few minutes from now. And then if you really see, since 2002, as we were discussing, up to 2001 it was just a one night event kind of, and then 2002 to 2012 it was this heats kind of introduced. Heats is basically the preliminary, because probably the songs were in the thousands and they wanted to get down the number of songs and the number of participants and so on. So from the initial screenings to now this year 25, I can tell, like they were the 5 kind of the heats or pre in which two songs were selected, like the 5-2 and then one more 2. So the total songs are 12 songs. And then so this, as I told you, the television is like important part of this, because this is conducted by Swedish Television, SVT, and the Sveriges Radio, right? So huge TV money, the big money that floats around for the TV sponsorships and so on, right? Because games and all these big concerts are always associated with TV, like TV sponsorship. They run into millions and billions. People talk about football matches, TV rights running into millions, billions and so on, right? And with big names in TV and media coming into the picture. So we see the backstage, kind of the backstage party area, or how do I put it, it's basically if I'm seeing those white cloth wrapped table, it is meaning that they are party things. I believe they are for the important people, governors or something, governors or the management team or something, very important people, and then I think maybe singers or something. Yeah, we see that's the reason we see the back of the stadium is basically not uncovered. I mean, that the seats are not occupied. So if the place where I am sitting is also, the seats are also not occupied. Yeah, so I'm just sitting in a place where And we see this the MELODIFESTIVALEN, and then coming to the televised rounds. So there is, Melody Festival takes place on 6 Saturdays and consists of 6 live shows, 4 heats, in which each of the 7. This year there were 5 heats. So this year there has been a few small changes with respect to, there is a combination of both voting and a point system, and I'll explain, try to explain that a bit. But if you are getting to, there are these heats, the preliminary rounds, from which 2 songs. This year there are 12 total songs. So now we will see the competition from the 12 total songs, and since 2015 there are 7 songs for each heat, so, and 12 and from 4 from the second, and now from 2024 there are 5 heats actually, where current competition, 5 heats are held in each of the 6 songs, compete, and 2 directly qualify, and a runoff vote is held at the end of the 5th heat to determine which 2 songs which missed out on the direct qualification from the heats are progressing, leading to a 12 songs. So because there are 5 city events, and then 2 more songs are added, so 5 into 2, 10, plus 2 more songs that are added, run of the 2 songs which missed out on the direct qualification and the runoff heats, right, leading to a 12 song final. So heats and the second chance. That's the reason. Prior to the introduction of current form of heats in 2002, competition was just a single live show. So under the current system, 4 heats, 5 are broadcast, and this is the 8 o'clock Central Eastern European time is the final now. We are sitting for the final. Yeah, we see a spectacular. We see this. This year 24, right? And then there is something known as the Directil Finale and second chance and the Andra chance. And Andra chansen is actually giving the chance one more time. That's the reason we have the 10 plus 2 songs, in the sense 12 for the final that we are seeing today. So the venue will see the 12 songs competing directly for the the final, and these the final, the winner will participate in the Eurovision, as I was telling you before, right? And then so if you look at the televised rounds, right, and then the hosting, as I was telling you, this has been this Melody Festival, and that started in 1959, has been hosted in different venues. One is called the Circus in the old Stockholm, it's Djurgården, and then between 2002 to 2012 it is held in the Globen, or the Globe, or the Avicii Arena as it is called now. It's a globe, it's a big globe basically, and inside there are seats. The same thing, globe that can also host different events from concerts to to the winter games and so on. So and then from 2012 to now 2000 now currently, and probably also in the future, the venue that we are sitting in now will host this, has been hosting and will host this. It is called the Strawberry Arena. This is the largest arena in Sweden, with about 65,000 seats for concert and 50,000 plus seats, and the highest number attendees were little more than 60,000 for the Taylor Swift Eras Tour in 2024, May 17 to 19, and then the highest attended for football match was a little more than 50,000 for the AIK final. This is the home of the national Swedish national football team, and it's called Arena, and that's the reason it's called the National Arena or the National Arena, right? And then also the football team called AIK, Allsvenskan in the klubben, idrottsklubben. Now the lights, and you can see all that. Spent in the earlier years in Circus in Stockholm, which hosted the first 10 competitions. It is hosted the Melody, and 17 times it was hosted in the Circus. And then the Avicii Arena has hosted the 7 finals, so 24 here. And then television rounds, and then heats and the second chance, as I was mentioning about the heats. Second chance is the 5th heat, in which the remaining 4 entries to the final are chosen. So the 3rd and 4th place songs from each heat, so 8 in total, right? So 3rd and 4th songs in for one or for first or the first 4 heats, right? So they will become 8 songs. So the 4 into 2 is equal to 8 is already chosen from the first 4 heats. The 5th heat is going to choose 4 songs from the remaining, the first 4 third and fourth place songs. So totally that is making it to about 12 for the final today. Right. And then so now the final is taking place today at 20 o'clock, that is 8 p.m. Central European Time, Stockholm. 12 songs are chosen, and then so as a Eurovision is usually, so what happens is, because the Eurovision is so popular and is broadcasted among the Nordic countries, right? And then this is of course so the winner receives a trophy, Sångfågeln. It is a great songbird from the previous awards winner. The trophy is designed by Ernst Billigren, who unveiled it in 2005 and awarded all the previous Swedish winners. The viewer of the competition, they reprise their song at the end of the event. So voting, before voting is important, because before the introduction of the current voting system, a group of Swedish, there were instances of Swedish telephone network collapsing because of the number of calls, and claimed that it was part of the tabloid and all the routine gossips and so on. Such as tabloid pages suggested that use of televoting has drastically altered the results. Right. So newspapers released what they claimed to be backup juries or votes, which showed the winner. So this is about voting. Voting is done from all the regions in Sweden. So So and the SVT has about 7 regional news districts which have been telephone lines have been opened immediately after the radio preview. So 2 telephone numbers are used for giving voters the option of whether or to donate money or and one more thing that important thing that happens is in each telephone voting, 2 things happen. Of course, the voting happens, and then there is also the probability of the collection of money or something, because huge money is also. So 2 things that are part of 2 key things. I mean, there might be many other things, but 2 key things that form part of the voting. So since 2010, most spokespeople have announced the points in English and post repeating them in Swedish. Points were announced in English with the Swedish reporting them in English. If there is a tie, that songs that receive more votes in the public reserves the higher position. There have been many 2 ties, I think, So in the case of a tie, first place in the history, songs that receive more votes from the public will receive, we see the people holding these lights kind of stuff and then voting. It's like a Taylor Swift's concert or anything. That's of course still more popular and global scale. I believe she had total of about 149 era tour concerts, starting from Los Angeles Sophie Stadium. And this is like people are excited, they are exuberant, and the stadium is fantastic. I mean, it's I don't know. So stadium is really, really, really fantastic, and then it's looking like a magic actually. I mean, of course the Melody Festival and everything is important, but these venues actually, it's more like we're seeing. When people seeing the people and their reactions is really, really very wonderful actually. That's what I really like the most. And of course, winners, if you know, ABBA has started, ABBA was the winner of the Melody Festival in 1974. So this Melody Festival has given rise to many, many stars. They become local stars, of course, because it's the biggest musical event in Sweden. And then the winners go to participate in the Eurovision, right? So ABBA is, Swedish. Sweden is famous for the ABBA and music group, right? They're Agneta, Björn, and 2 more names. So there were 4 people in ABBA group. And then so the winners get to receive the golden bird. The song fågel, the song singing bird kind of Sångfågeln it's called in Swedish. And then so a lot of events and then rules, right? I mean, so there have been a lot of rules and so on. That's media coverage. Media coverage is breaking records because in terms of the money, because it's the biggest musical event in Sweden, and then the representatives will finally participate in the final, right? In the Eurovision context, right? So they will yeah. So viewing figures are in the millions, and I think in believe in some instance it was more than half the population of Sweden itself. So that's the kind of viewing and viewership and the money that's involved. Yeah. So there were a few on-stage gimmicks, like my use of a micro Lena Philipson's they go around, which means it gives pain. Use of a microphone stand at the 2004 competition, and then tongue-in-cheek short film over there, and then a lot of stuff. So this is big about the Melody Festival, and this year.
Tack till Vilka sanslösa röst. Och den regerande Eurovision-mästare. Och också historiskt som den första icke-binära kvinnan.
Riktigt inspirerande. Och vi kan väl passa på att reda ut hur det ligger till med oss på. Jag heter Kio och identifierar mig själv som kvinna.
Och jag heter Edvin och identifieras 2025 som i år går av stapeln i Basel, Schweiz. Landet som hjälper oss 3 av mina favoritsaker. Ost, choklad och skattebrott.
Så kvällens stora fråga är: vem blir det? Vem av våra tappra tävlanden får äran att representera oss i Eurovision Song Contest? Detta musikaliska OS. Vem får ta den svenska flaggan i hand och åka ut till vårt älskade Europa?